Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of First Impression Sports Talk here on Fluent Media. I'm your host, Jasmine Pollock, and today I'm going to be talking about Bronny James being drafted, a little bit about some of the NBA moves, and Angel Reese continuing to dominate as a rookie in the WNBA. So first, I want to start by saying make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Jazz on Sports. It has a completely different name on all my new platforms. It's going to be called Jazz on Sports, JAZ on Sports combined. You can catch me on all my YouTube channels. You can catch me on Instagram to talk more about a lot more topics in sports. So let's get into it. Bronny James was selected in the 55th pick in this year's NBA draft to join his father, LeBron James. And this is just amazing to see because we've never seen this before. This is the first time a father and son duo has been playing on the same team in the NBA. So this is going to be a big deal for them. What the biggest thing I want to say is I know I saw a lot of people, trying to say it's nepotism and say different things like that. And, oh, this is not good. What about other people? My thing is, we live in a society that if you're able to create a lane for your children and you have built an empire the way LeBron James has done, and he is able to provide that for his children to put his children in the best state that he's ever as he's ever been, at their ages, what is wrong with that? And we look at that because we saw LeBron James come in at 18 years old. He was overlooked. They were predicting him to be a bust. They did not see LeBron James being what he is today. And on top of that, he didn't have a father figure in his life the way he is in Bronny's life and his other children. So when we look at this is a big deal. And I am so happy for the James family. I'm so happy for their legacy because his legacy is going to continue. As for Bronny, now I was one of those people to say I would love to see LeBron James Jr., create his own lane, create his own way of, legacy. But obviously, this is a big legacy. I'm playing with my dad. That's something new. And I think this is towards the end of LeBron's career. 100%. I do think that we're starting to see, LeBron probably trying to make his way out of here, being that we're seeing this. I think this has always been one of his goals is to play with his son. Maybe his sons, because we know Bryce is coming up as well. But this is amazing to see. And I enjoyed that we're seeing a father and son duo, and we're seeing LeBron James create lanes and opportunities for his children that he did not have. So I want to congratulate them both and the James family for that. Next, let's talk about some of the new NBA moves. So we saw the 76ers got Paul George. I think this is a great move. Why do I say this? Because we all know when Paul George went to the Clippers, everyone had these expectations of them winning a championship. Him and Kawhi, they had a big team. Ty Lewis head coach. There was a lot of star players on that team. Lou Williams was on that team at one point. Patrick Beverly. There was a lot of people on this team that could have potentially won a championship, but it did not work. And I want to say that the Clippers, that whole Clippers team these past few years has been an utter disaster. We were hoping to see them, dominate, but there was a lot of health issues. We know Kawhi did not play most of the time, most of the season. They did make it to the Western Conference Finals in their tenure, but it wasn't enough to get the job done. So Paul George is now a 76er, joining Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. I think this is a good deal because they needed a third option, a viable third option. We know James Harden was over there. He wasn't the best option for them. With Joel Embiid being, in and out, he can get injured as well. I do think this is a great move for them, especially if they're trying to, compete in the Eastern Conference, because we all know Boston is coming off their win and everyone's trying to build up to beat Boston. I think this is a big deal, and I think this is a good thing for them. Paul George is still a great player to me. He's still doing great things. He stayed healthy for the most part last season, but I'm really excited to see what he's going to do and add that veteran piece that they needed, adding that scoring and different things like that, because we know Paul George has been in a lot of great battles. We've seen him a lot of times, in big games. So I'm really excited for him to continue his career. But I think this might be his last hurrah as well with the 76ers. I do think the 76ers now adding him is a viable threat to the Boston Celtics. So definitely we'll see how that works. Before we get to Angel Reese, we forgot about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is now a Maverick. what an era that the Golden State Warriors had with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. I still see Klay as a warrior. It's hard to see him on other teams. I know he got traded to the Warriors, but he was a warrior. He's still a warrior. I'm glad they're retiring his jersey because he created that dynasty. Him, Steph Curry, Draymond, they all contributed to this great dynasty they've had these past 7 to 8 years. And it's sad to see, the Splash Brothers are no longer the Splash Brothers. They've created a lot of great memories, a lot of great moments, even though I was not the biggest Warriors fan. But it's just sad to see. You hate to see two duos like that, part ways, because they've created so much history together. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry used to light it up on the court together, and it's just amazing. Now for the Mavericks, they're coming off a finals loss to the Boston Celtics. I'm not saying this. I like the 76ers getting Paul George more than I like the Mavericks getting Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is on his last legs. He has had 2 major injuries, Achilles tear, ACL tear, and he's not the same Klay Thompson we've known these earlier in his earlier days and different things like that. So for this is a good veteran piece. 100%, I'm all for a team getting veteran guys for their young star. They have Luka. They have a lot of young stars, and then of course you have Kyrie, who is also a veteran. But what are you getting out of Klay Thompson? Are you getting that Klay Thompson you did a couple years ago? Are you getting that Klay Thompson that's going to get you 60 points? I'm not sure. Can he do it still? 100%, but he is on his last legs for sure. And I would love to see how he's going to be incorporated and, on both ends of the floor. Klay Thompson I still think he's a viable threat. I still think he can do what he needs to do, but he is on his last legs. And I don't know if you're going to consistently get that out of him, but I don't know if this makes them a guaranteed championship winner. There's a lot of things that the Mavericks have to do, and it all starts with Luka. Luka has to expand his game. He has to stop complaining so much, and he has to focus on building his craft and put his team in the best situation to win. Kyrie Irving, I thought he played well, towards the end of the series, but he had to be a little bit more consistent. But if you act somebody like Klay Thompson, another viable third option, I do think that's a good deal. But I like the 76ers move better than I do like the Mavericks move to get Klay Thompson. But we will see. I do think the Mavericks are still a team to beat. They're still a team in the West that everyone, needs to look out for because they're still going to be a good team. I thought they did great this season, but I do think Luka needs to get better. And adding Klay Thompson could add to that, could add some, veteranism that they need. So that's a big deal. We look at Kadarius Caldwell-Pope is now a Orlando Magic. I think I love that move for them. Don't like this move for Denver because he was a very good option for them. He was a very good player for them. And the Denver Nuggets are trying to get Russell Westbrook. I am not understanding that. I don't know if that move is going to happen. Maybe, but I don't see why. There was reports that Nikola Jokic was, pulling for him and wanting him. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. I'm not saying Russ had a bad season because he didn't have a bad season, but Ty Lue is such a phenomenal coach, and he's able to use his players' strengths and disguise the weaknesses of the team. So Ty Lue is a very, very, very good coach. I think he is highly underrated compared to other coaches in this league, and I'm glad that they're bringing him back for the Clippers. But what are you getting out of Russ in Denver? What is the Denver Nuggets getting out of him? I don't think you need him. You don't need him. I think they could have gotten someone else. You could have kept Pope, but I know Pope got the bag, with the Magic. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited, but we're definitely watching what DeMar DeRozan. He is another. There's some rumors he might go to Lakers. We don't know. We will definitely see. We saw that Donovan Mitchell this morning. He is re-signing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's staying in Cleveland. So a lot of people, are kind of like staying home. But the 2 biggest moves was obviously Klay Thompson and Paul George leaving their destinations from the Clippers and the Warriors. Last but certainly not least is Angel Reese is continuing to dominate in the WNBA. The double-double queen. She's the first ever to do this, having multiple double-doubles consecutively in the WNBA. She is letting it up, and I am so excited for her. I know they did lose, so they have to pick up some wins. Shout out to Caitlin Clark as well. She is doing phenomenal. They just picked up some wins. So both of these rookies are going to be battling it out for that Rookie of the Year. I personally am picking Angel Reese because I feel like with Angel Reese, I do think she's in a better situation, even though the fever is starting to pick it up for sure. Caitlin Clark is starting to settle into her thing. I do think she needs to turn down the turnovers because she is a turnover machine. But these two rookies, when I spoke about them when they were playing in college, I knew these rookies would be sensational. I knew that they would put the WNBA on a much bigger scale than it was ever before. So this is exciting, seeing these two young women do what they need to do in order to propel their teams, in order to compete, in order they're always up for the challenge. You can never say about these two rookies that they are lazy, that they are not working for it, because they are, and I am so proud of them. And Camila Cardoso, I'm really hurt for Cameron Brink, her getting her injury, because she was playing well as well too. And these young women are really doing a great number. But A'ja Wilson, I can't say enough about what A'ja Wilson is doing, because I do think she's the best player right now in the WNBA, regardless of what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are doing. A'ja Wilson is that girl. She is dominating, and she's rightfully so the best player on the court, because her team is seeking their three-peat. They just won back-to-back championships, so they're looking to continue their run and continue making history. Yeah, shout out, thank you. But I'm really excited to see what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are. I had some people on my TikTok come for me saying, this is not a rivalry. Yes, it very much so is a rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and it's a very good rivalry. What is sports without a good rivalry? We look at football. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. Our rivalry is the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions, but it's mainly the Chicago Bears. We love a rivalry. We love teams going back and forth that had great players on there, and they're the best of the best is going up against each other. You look at the Lakers and Celtics. That is a rivalry. What are we talking about? And I was confused on why people were saying these two are not a rivalry. Rivalry is not good. Rivalry is sensational in sports. You need rivalry in sports. That's what gets people amped up. Red Sox versus the Yankees. I'm a Florida Gator versus the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Florida State Seminoles. Who doesn't love a good rivalry? And I think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are another rivalry that people need to add to their list. 100%, because these two girls, this rivalry did not just start when they got into the WNBA. This rivalry has been brewing ever since they were in college. We forget Angel Reese did play for Maryland at one point. So she was constantly playing Caitlin Clark when Caitlin Clark was in Iowa. But she did transfer to LSU. She won her championship, but then she ended up facing Caitlin Clark in the championship and ended up winning. These two are going to continue to battle it out. Fever and the Chicago Sky are going to continue to be rivals because of these two women. They are doing the thing. They're selling jerseys. They're selling out arenas. They're getting endorsements. They're getting people talking. We need to acknowledge that these two are rivals, and it's a respected rivalry. They both respect each other's game. They both have high regard for each other, and they're both dominant players. They are two rivals to me, and this is good for the WNBA. You need that talk. Now, I don't like the side of it where it's a race thing. I hate that, because we should not look at that. We should look at two great young women who are adding to the sport in a multitude of different ways. Both have different things about them that make them great. They both play in different roles that make them great. So I don't like the whole race war that's going on between them. I really hate that, because that's shying away from what they truly are as two great players that have done a lot of great things for women's sports, and specifically women's basketball. So for me, I am so excited and so happy for these two. I'm rooting for these two. I'm one of those people that will get both of their jerseys. Definitely. I'm one of those people that will love to support both of them. I would love to see them play one day, and definitely see them in person and play one day. So these women are doing phenomenal things, and I'm really excited for that. So for me, shout out to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all the other women, especially A'ja Wilson, who is continuing to dominate. Give these girls their props. Give these women their props of doing what has never been done in the WNBA, of giving them this huge exposure and just competing at the highest level. That wraps up this show. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for continuously giving your support. Thank you all for the viewership. I am so grateful. Please, everyone, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is now called Jazz on Sports. It's JAZAON Sports, and that is all combined. Please make sure to stay tuned and subscribe and turn on your post notifications, because I'm going to constantly keep talking about a lot of things. We're looking forward to college football. That's going to be coming up. We're looking forward to the NFL season, hockey season. Shout out to the Florida Panthers for winning their first ever Stanley Cup Finals in franchise history. I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, so I'm a little salty. We lost Steven Stamkos. I'm not really happy as a Lightning fan. We lost a great player, but we're adding a lot of young pieces that I'm really excited about. But shout out to the Florida Panthers for dominating and getting their first championship. That wraps up the show. See you guys next time.